evening, everyone. I'd like to call the August 2nd, 2022 City Council meeting for the City of Cannon Falls to order. We have roll call, please.
Bringold.
Here.
Duncan.
Here.
Gesme. On mute.
He's up there.
Cronenberger.
Here.
Lundell. Here. Montgomery. Here. Altough.
Here. Would you rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, approval of the agenda. Any corrections or additions?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Motion by Lundell, second by Bringold to approve the agenda. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Whoops.
Oh.
Sorry.
Wait,
Roll call.
we have to do roll.
Okay, roll call, sorry.
Bringold.
Aye.
Duncan.
Aye.
Gesme.
Aye.
Cronenberger.
Aye.
Lundell.
Aye.
Montgomery.
Aye.
Altough. Oh, sorry.
Don't vote. Okay. Approve this. Agenda's approved. Let's get into public input. Public input is intended to offer the public an opportunity to address concerns to the city council. The public input will be no longer than 30 minutes in total length, and each speaker will have no more than 3 minutes to speak. Speakers may address topics relevant to the governance of the city. Speakers must sign up in advance and provide their name, address, and topic they intend to address. Comments must be on topic, respectful, pertinent to city business, and adhere to the applicable data privacy rules. Any speaker that violates these rules will be asked to sit down, and if the speaker refuses to comply, they'll be removed from the meeting. Speakers shall not address topics that are a subject of a public hearing. All such comments should be made at the public hearing. The City Council will not generally act on issues raised by the public input, but may choose to schedule consideration of the item on a future agenda. Okay. Zach Rohr, you're up. Howdy.
How's it going tonight?
Good.
Good. Thank you for taking the time to let me speak this evening. My name's Zach Rohr. I'm here representing my company, Mini Growing. We're a hemp manufacturer in town out in the industrial park. We've been here since 2019, manufacturing federally compliant and state compliant hemp products. Since we've been in this community, my whole family is from here. My other business partners are also from the city of Cannon Falls, and we've invested millions and millions of dollars into this community and into this business to see, economic growth within this category in the state. The reason that I wanted to speak tonight is that I know we're proposing a THC ordinance for the city of Cannon Falls, and I just want to say that I completely understand, the need for, discussing this. We see other cities throughout the state that are moving fast and, doing these moratoriums, to ban the sale of THC products. So I completely understand, why the city of Cannon Falls is discussing this issue. With that said, we've had open discussion with city leaders throughout the week. Yesterday, we were able to have a great discussion on, what this ordinance, means and what it means for our business. And we just want to say thank you for that open dialogue and that we are here to be an asset for the city. Right now, a lot of other businesses that we work with throughout the state, their cities are putting in these bans and it's substantially hurting their business. And what I'd like to do is come together with the city of Cannon Falls to develop, one, safe regulations for our citizens on how we can sell these products, but two, also become leaders in the state so we can provide a template for these other cities to follow. So I just wanted to speak tonight and let you know that I want to be an asset for the city. Our company wants to be an asset for the city of Cannon Falls, and anything that we can do to provide input on what regulations and licensing might look like, we definitely want to be there for the city of Cannon Falls. With that said, I just want to, also address that, I think that a lot of the media coverage on these products has been a little outblowing. It seems that, this was kind of passed through the legislature unknowingly, but from what I'm told is that there were several discussions between the Republican Party and the Democrat Party on coming together and getting this law passed. With that said, these products are, all regulated through the federal farm program. Minnesota, we have one of the best hemp programs in the country. We actually had the first approved USDA hemp program. So all the products that we produce are, Farm Bill compliant federally and have always been regulated through the state of Minnesota through the Board of Pharmacy. So, we have a tremendous amount of knowledge. My background, I went to school at Mitchell-Hamlin School of Law and graduated from there, so I really understand the regulatory side of things and licensing. So, with that said, I just, if you guys have any questions as, you guys are working through this ordinance, we definitely want to be an asset for you. We did propose, in addition to the ordinance, one thing that we'd really like to see instituted in the city is that the products being sold in this city are doing things the right way. And what I think that means is that the folks that are allowed to sell these products, distribute them, make them, have to be a registered hemp license holder through the Minnesota Department of Agriculture. And by doing that, it'll just provide way more regulatory oversight, literally from the seed of the plant all the way to the sale of the product. So one thing that we'd like to propose in, addition to this ordinance is that, we'd like to be able to continue to sell our products in Cannon Falls while you guys are doing the due diligence and working through the zoning and the licensing and the regulations. If we are able to, have that, and I can send this over to you too. We redlined just a couple sentences. But we'd really like to see if that the people who have been doing it the right way for the last, 4 or 5 years can continue to do things the right way. And that's really what all we're asking for. Other than that, thank you for your time tonight.
Thanks, Zach. Joe, you want to talk?
I said it all, but gonna add a couple things. Just ask Zach something. Quick. Hello, everybody. My name is Joe Rohr, lifetime resident of Cannon Falls, Minnesota, and proud of it. Zach and I started the hemp business quite a few years ago, and right from the beginning, I called even before we bought the building in the industrial park. We called Diane here and wanted to make sure that we had a license to do so. And since then, we rented the building for 6 months. Purchased the building for well over $1 million. We've got another $1 million in startup costs, and with all the license through Minnesota and the federal government, we've done everything at 100%. Finally, we're starting to possibly see a profit. And I kind of feel like we're being cut down at the knees here. And the funny thing I don't understand about all these cities putting in these moratoriums, us and a few of our other competitors here in Minnesota can ship to anybody. They can order today, it gets shipped out tomorrow, be in their home in 2 days. That's the law. We can go right through the post office. So these moratoriums I really don't understand. Cities doing this. Yeah, so they're going to regulate the sale of THC products through Cannon Falls. No sale can be made. Well, somebody just has to drive out of town. If they want to do it legally, they can just drive out of town, block on the other side of us, and put an order right on their phone. It goes out in the U.S. mail the next day, or that day even, and they're delivered to their home. The products are delivered to their home the next day. So I really don't understand why people are wasting all this time on moratoriums. I do understand one city, they were honest about it and said they wanted to find out who was selling it so they could tax accordingly. They wanted to tax it like liquor. I understand that. But they're being, Fort Worth, that's what they want. And if that's what towns are doing, I totally understand that. I just kind of wonder how long this moratorium might last, because it's going to hurt our business, because we'd rather do like we've been doing, selling our legal products right at our store. besides shipping to people in Cannon Falls. I think we've shipped out, just the last 2 weeks, 350 orders to people in Cannon Falls at their homes. And plus, we've had people come to our door and purchase the products. It's kind of been a whirlwind, and we're working our way through it. So I just want to take that, if everybody could take that in consideration, how long this moratorium may last. But I really don't see how it even affects, or what I don't think it does a lot of good myself. But because all these towns, everybody's come up with Prior Lake last night. I think it was Prior Lake came up with the moratorium, and we had 4 shipments today go out to residents of Prior Lake. So that's all I got to say. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Joe. Thank you. Okay. We'll close the public input. Okay, we've got a couple public hearings tonight. The first one, Resolution 2643, certifying that unpaid utility bills be collected with taxes. Neil, you want to just comment on that?
Yeah, each quarter we notify the property owners that they have unpaid water and sewer bills. And we do this public hearing to give them a chance to speak. Otherwise, as in every quarter, we certify them to taxes. So that's why the public hearing.
Okay, let's open the public hearing on Resolution 2643. Is there anybody who would like to comment on the utility bill charges being collected with taxes? Now is your time to talk. Second call. Third and final call. Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing on Resolution 2643. And I'd take a motion that to certify unpaid utility charges be collected with taxes.
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion by Bringel, second by Montgomery, to approve Resolution 2643. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll never get that.
It's all right. Bringle,
Aye.
Duncan,
Aye.
Gesme,
Aye.
Cronenberger,
Aye.
Lindell,
Aye.
Montgomery.
Aye. Okay, Resolution 2643 passes 6-0. Okay, the second public hearing tonight is introduction and first reading of Ordinance 386. It's an ordinance annexing land located in Cannon Falls Township, Goodhue County, Minnesota, pursuant to Minnesota statutes 414-033, subdivision 2, pertaining annexation by ordinance. Diane, you want to introduce that one?
Yeah, our proposed annexation is owned by Greensmith as of today. Congratulations. It's currently located in the Cannon Falls Township. It is approximately 53.86 acres, and it's proposed to be zoned to the R3 medium-density residential district. Planning Commission also unanimously approved this annexation at the last Planning Commission.
Do you want to introduce?
Aaron Smith, he is the owner of Greensmith, and he is going to give a presentation to everybody.
Hey, everyone. Well, this is not as exciting as THC, unless you're in the market for a new home. But we're really excited. The 2 phases of the project to be 129 homes. We hired JLG Architects out of Minneapolis. They're a very renowned firm to start doing the land planning. I should lean in. To do all the land planning and the conceptuals to move the project forward. So we, again, couldn't be more excited. I tried the pizza at Brewster's tonight. I'm excited to spend more and more time in your great city, and we look forward to getting started very, very soon. Any questions from anyone? I think on this tract of land, there's about 100 lots. On that previous 8.6, there's 29 total lots. So that's kind of how the breakdown goes. And really, that preliminary plat, not much has changed since the preliminary plat. We did have some conversation with city staff about potentially doing a outlot to the west, which would give the city some variability on a future road going north or kind of to the west side, and we're open to that as well. But we'll continue working with them very closely as we lay everything out. And yeah.
Are you still thinking of solar applications in your house? Like, at one time.
John's going to ask me every time.
I ask you that every time, but.
Okay,
know
I want to
you-
make everyone can come out after and see my new F-150 electric. So all my gas for my F-150 is free from my solar array on my rooftop, which is pretty cool. So I just think when we think about the cost of housing, we need to think about the utilities as well. And solar is just making more and more sense to keep utility costs under control, to keep families' budgets under control. Money that they don't spend on utilities is money that they can spend in the community. So yes, I like solar. I still do, John.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah.
You plan on moving dirt before winter comes?
Most of the earth moving companies are pretty booked now through the end of winter, but I think the second that we can get in the spring, we'll start moving dirt.
Any more questions? Well, thank you.
Great, thanks so much.
We want to open the public hearing. Anybody that wants to talk on this ordinance, on the annexation, feel free to come up.
Babe O'Gorman, Cannon Falls. I've been in and around here for several years and listening to all this building going on. I happen to be in the trades myself, so I'm all for it. But there comes a time and a place when's enough, and this has nothing to do with Mr. Smith solely. I'm wondering if you folks have, and I've never heard it here in this room, about CETA. Anybody know anything about that? They did a comprehensive study, and I happen to have some information here. And it's just partial. There's 279 pages or something with this thing. But in that packet, and I mean it's a vast array, it's a CETA study, comprehensive housing needs for Goodhue County. And what's interesting is CETA was spot on in the last decade, and I have yet to hear anybody bring it up in this room. So I'm wondering if you people even know what it is. And I'm wondering if anybody has read it and seen it, but I'm wondering how you make a decision if you don't follow this comprehensive study that is quite in depth about housing in Goodhue County. The total number of households by 2030 is only supposed to grow by 113. That's households. He alone is going to build more lots than that. And we've got Keller Bartman and up on Sandstone Ridge and various other developments all over town. That means the population, according to CETA, is only going to grow by 243 people. Not housing units, just by people. If you go through this, it talks about single and multifamily home needs, and we are building way, way beyond what CETA is recommending. They talk about rental apartments and townhome needs. We're building way, way beyond what CETA recommends. I don't see anywhere where we've addressed senior needs, and CETA says that's one of the most important. And I'm kind of wondering why you folks have not been privy to CETA. It's Laura Qualley's boss that put this together, and I assume it costs quite a bit of money. And it is quite in-depth, and why would we want to overbuild Cannon Falls, especially when we're still up on Sandstone Ridge from 20 years ago, trying to clean up the mess that was made. And I know that there's a housing boom right now. That's how I make my living. But the other shoe will drop. It always does. It says that Greensmith is building 154 single-family homes, and CETA says there's only 96 needed. And like I said, there's other developments in town. And the one that really behooves me is Glen Mulvihill's right across from the school. There's 40 acres sitting there. There's been 4 or 5 houses on that street on the far west end of it. There just isn't a call for it. I mean, that's their problem. You know, it's their investment. But it was up in Sandstone Ridge, and who ended up with it in their lap? We did. And we're still trying to get out from under it, I think. Greensmith annexed 8.5 acres about a year ago. Their lawyer said they were going to put 25 residential lots in. I have not seen any, and I think I just heard that they haven't even moved any dirt yet. And so my question is, okay, the 25 makes sense to me, okay? And nobody's ever discussed it. But if you haven't started the 25 and you've had the ability to do that, why all of a sudden are we going to put another 100 plus more on top of it and you haven't even started yet? I don't understand that, and I haven't heard anybody in this room ask any questions about any of it. And I have yet to hear anything about this CETA, which took me some time to go through and analyze. And you should probably take the time and look at it, as long as you're making the decisions. Thank you for your time, folks.
Anybody else? Ray?
Good evening. I'm Ray Otto with Cannon Falls Township. I'd like to make a clarification to what was published in the paper, that the township gave its approval for the annexation. I don't recall that ever being the case. We were not in favor of it, but the comment was made that there's nothing we can do to stop it. So I just want to go on the record that the township is not in favor of it. Okay?
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else? Seeing none, let's close the public hearing on the ordinance 386. And does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Montgomery, second by Dungad, to approve the first reading of ordinance 386, annexing land in the Cannon Falls Township pursuant to Minnesota statutes. Is there any other discussion? Could we have a vote on that?
Ringgold,
Aye.
Duncan,
Aye.
Gesme,
Aye.
Cronenberger, Lindell.
Aye.
Montgomery.
Aye.
Okay, the introduction, first reading, approved 6-0. Okay, we'll get into consent agenda. Consent agenda items may be adopted under one motion as presented, or may be removed for discussion, and resolution is council business. Item A, just and correct claims for the accounting period ending July 28th, 2022. Item B, minute meetings for the July 19th, 2022 City Council meeting. Is there anything the council would like to pull down? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Bringle, second by Duncan, to approve the consent agenda. Any other discussion? Will we have a vote on that?
Bringold,
Aye.
Duncan,
Aye.
Gesme,
Aye.
Cronenberger.
Aye.
Lundell.
Aye.
Montgomery.
Aye.
Consent agenda passes 6-0. Okay, again, council business. Item A is the introduction and first reading of Ordinance 387, an interim ordinance prohibiting the sale and distribution of products containing the THC within the city of Cannon Falls.
Is that right? Is that right, Dan? Sale and distribution.
Just sale.
It says distribution. Ah. Oh, okay.
Right, but we want to make sure that it's read correctly.
Thank you.
So let's go over this again. Introduction of the first reading of ordinance 387, an interim ordinance prohibiting the sale of products containing THC within the city of Cannon Falls. Is that right?
That's correct. Sorry about that. Our city clerk had gone on vacation, and that change came after she had gone on vacation. You're right, Joe. Thank you. John, do you want me to comment on this
Yeah,
further?
go ahead.
Okay. First, I want to thank Zach and Joe for giving a nice presentation tonight and for your offer of partnership. We really appreciate that. Secondly, real quick, I just want to clarify something so there isn't any confusion. The background on this is there's been a number of cities in the state that have been temporarily putting a hold on the sale of THC edibles. And basically why we're doing this is to try to give the city staff time to determine which regulations surrounding zoning and licensing would be appropriate. We don't want to ban anything. And I think with Zach and Joe yesterday, I think we came to an agreement, we all understood that we want to work together. We just want to get our feet under us, basically. And a moratorium, Joe, your question was a really good one. How long is a moratorium going to last? Like I told Zach, the wheels of government sometimes move a lot slower than we like. But we would try to definitely get this moving as quick as we could. You know, moratoriums can last up to a year. I would not like to see it last that long, to be honest with you. The quicker we can get this done and do it right, with the help of Jeff, our city attorney, Neil, myself, you know, we have a good team and we have you guys willing to work with us. I think that we could get some good things done.
Comments from the council?
Just one question on item C. It's written in red on here. The moratorium will not prohibit the sale of products by the holder of a license. Does that mean they could sell it out of their warehouse?
You know, we haven't had a chance to talk about that yet, Derek. It's something that we could talk about. And Zach, I did copy that so we could give that to the council. You had alluded to that in your presentation earlier. You know, that's one of those moving parts, Derek. We haven't had a chance. This is something that was just given to me this morning. And I did tell Zach we would talk about it, but we do need the time to be able to have a meeting on that one.
Yeah, the stuff in red, the red print, has not been presented to our attorney yet, so just keep that in mind. If this thing gets approved and goes to second reading, we'll have to, whatever you guys decide tonight, we'll make the adaption to the ordinance however you guys decide. But the writing in red was brought to us by Mini Grown, and the other was drafted by the city attorney, just so you know.
Well, there's no way we want to hamper the sales you guys got in Mini Grown. I mean, we're here to support you for sure, but I don't know, maybe I don't know how the council feels. Maybe they don't want to.
Well, things like this, if you compare it to tobacco and alcohol, the states really make all the rules, and the cities are just left to enforce it. The state didn't make any rules, so if they didn't make any rules, then maybe we just leave things be and we can come up with what we want. But until then, if the tobacco shop in town wants to sell it, and maybe a couple gas stations or whoever, let them go for it. That's what I think, anyway.
I agree with Derek. I'm leaning towards no action at this time. What Diane had said, those things, any city regulations, we can work on that while letting the state law stand. I don't think that there's much there at this point, because the tobacco shop has edible gummies with Delta 8 in their store right now. And I know that on the state level, the Delta 9 is what they tried to bring it in for regulation and all that, so it's opened a different door. But I talked to some local businesses too, liquor stores, because the THC beverages, those are also legal, and they'd like to be able to give that a try. I think that if we did a moratorium, I think that we can work on regulations at the same time while having it be legal, and I don't foresee there being any problems or any rashes of things that would hurt the community if we let it be legal.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
The only thing with that one, Matt, is I did get a hold of alcohol and gambling about the off-sale liquor stores, and they're not permitted to sell it at this time.
What will they have to do to become a licensed dealer?
I'm not sure.
Because I understand with the edibles, because
Yeah.
food versus liquid, but for the beverages.
You know what? I'm not sure. They're trying to get their feet under them too, which is kind of why we propose this, because the league is running, AGED is running. I actually talked to the gentleman up at Tobacco Licensing, which I usually don't. And when I asked him what his opinion was, he said if it were him, he would probably just put some minimal rules in place, but just something to protect the city. I don't know what the right answer. This is totally new territory.
I think
I totally get that.
I think all these cities have overreacted to the situation myself.
I tend to agree with you guys on this. Whenever I look to an ordinance, I think, what problem are we trying to solve? And I can't find one here. I don't find a problem yet. Not that I want us to be knee-jerk and react, oh my gosh, we've got a huge problem. But this law just isn't even in effect yet, right? August 1st?
I think it was July 1st.
First? Okay.
So about a
But, I just don't see a problem that we're trying to solve. Sorry.
Well, I like the, what you guys put here in the red for us to allow, like, Mini Grow, because they're, have the proper license.
Right.
My problem is if we do nothing and it's sold willy-nilly out of whatever, then when rules are put in place and say we eliminate a couple of places, then they're going to be howling mad that, well, you let us do it for a while, but now with the new rules, you can't do it.
Well, the same thing will happen, though, if we put a moratorium in place and take it away. Same thing. It's just in reverse. I just don't,
No,
I don't know. I don't see it.
I don't see it that way. I'm
Fine.
in favor of putting a moratorium on as written here. I just, but to each their own.
Outside of the red verbiage, does this stop anything that's happening today. It just doesn't let us open up new stuff until we understand what we want to allow and what we don't want to allow.
Yeah, and a lot of it, Laura, when I talked to the gentleman up at tobacco licensing, has to do more like with the convenience stores, who can pick it up, and that's all good. But like he said, you could put in simple rules like having it down underneath the counter, much like tobacco, so it's not easily accessible for kids, or somebody just to walk by and grab, and have some of the wrong people get a hold of it. He wasn't talking about anything real specific, just simple common sense rules like that.
And if we don't put this in, that could start happening tomorrow? Like Casey's could start selling it tomorrow?
Yeah.
On the counter?
You could probably see it on the counter in Family Fare, wherever, wherever they want to put it.
Do you really think it's going to be on the counter, though?
Couldn't that be some of the
Do
regulations?
we really think that? Do we really think they're going to put edibles on the counter?
I think it's
I mean, really?
it's pretty expensive.
Yeah, I
I don't
thought this
think
was-
they would want to.
Yeah.
And maybe this is one of the regulations, but I thought that this was very similar
I just
to
don't see that
liquor
as a
store because it's
problem.
21 plus, so liquor stores, tobacco shops.
I think it was just them being the devil's advocate.
And that makes sense.
I think the
And we
important
can
thing to
work on
remember
this.
is that when the state passed this, there really wasn't a ton of discussion, a ton of public discussion on it. There might have been some behind-the-scenes discussion, some limited discussions. Most of law enforcement, including myself, heard about it when it hit the news. When you look at liquor, I don't think you have a equal comparison. The statutes on liquor are very, very specific. 21 to purchase, 21 to serve. There is absolutely no language on who can sell this. So you could have a 15-year-old clerk at a convenience store selling it. How are they going to ensure that they're complying? What regulation is there to comply with? Who can verify that? We've heard from the Chiefs Conference, or Chiefs meeting I was at, one of the chiefs said that they have been trying to do some auditing. And they've gone in and asked, okay, do you have your reports that show, your content is compliance? And the answers were basically, we don't have to show you anything. You're not the Department of Pharmacy. I think there's some really good actors. I think we've got a very good business in our community that wants to make sure that this gets done right, not just for their business, but for their community.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to remember that you have retailers that are being reached out to by people that are not our local business. And whether or not they're going to be getting sold what they think they're getting sold is hard to say without the ability for, verification and that type of thing. It's a sensitive topic. I get it. Bath salts were a sensitive topic in Duluth. All they had to do was keep changing the chemical substance in one molecule, and they could continue to sell it legally. Same outcome was negative, but that was a dynamic. It was a game that was being played of cat and mouse. In this case, it's really up to you guys. I think that the retailers that have reached out to us are looking for guidance, and there's hardly any guidance we can give them right now. And I think the concerns of what's a big deal are valid concerns. But at the same time, I think the concerns of, well, what if we change the rules and somebody who made an investment of $10,000 now can't sell it is also a valid concern. And Diane has been taking the lead on looking into this much more than I have. So maybe there's more you want to add.
It's my impression statewide that the cities that have put these moratoriums forward, going along with what you're saying, there's not much rules or regulations. It's a way of just waiting and seeing what the state's going to do next year.
I don't think that's
You don't-
necessarily what they're doing.
Really?
The league is putting together a task force to come up with best practices for cities to follow and how to regulate. I think that
So we would be, if we pass this, we would be in that
I think
group?
if we want to look at it going ahead, much like, was discussed, maybe becoming a lead in, legislation that would regulate, we don't have to wait for the league. Like I said, there's some really good actors out there that have a passion for doing this right. And I think we've got the advantage of having some right in our community. But I definitely think there should be some more regulation. I think we should have control over who can sell, much like if you go into a restaurant and you order something to drink, if your waitress or waiter is 18, the alcohol is going to come to you from somebody that's over 21. That's kind of a common sense approach. I think that in this environment, if anybody could sell it, that would be a common sense type of approach, since somebody can't be more than, or under 21 to purchase it. Maybe the restriction should also be 21 to sell.
What's the age for tobacco to be able to sell that?
18?
I'm not too
Be
sure.
21
If
for
I don't
that.
know if they changed that within the stuff or not.
I
But I
know-
think it's the
Be under
same,
21.
I know
It's
the
gotta be
gas stations
16.
in town have high schoolers working there, and they're selling.
but they also
That's-
have them in, more restricted areas. There's aren't that requirement on this legislation that it be, I get it, it's expensive, but that doesn't mean you can't put it out, in a basket somewhere else. That's up to a retailer to decide. While you could put in place a requirement that it be behind a counter or somewhere that's not, just grabbable, which to me would make a common sense approach.
Any other comments?
I just have one more, and Zach, I'm sorry, I'm going to pick on you again. We have a great leader over there, and he has a lot of experience with this, and he was so kind yesterday to offer to help us put together a really good program, and he too wants to be sure that people that are not mini-grown are maybe not necessarily are able to sell without some sort of rules and regulations, because there are unscrupulous people out there, and he has concerns about those himself. I mean, if we could work together with them, like I said, I really feel like we could put something out there that would be helpful to the city.
Would it make sense to either send this to a committee or even create like a new ad hoc committee just for this, and maybe one of those guys could be part of it?
I think that's a great idea, Derek.
It would make sense to me to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
that, because the one thing I'm not hearing, and I realize why you can't do it, is I don't see any timeline. And there's no timeline. It could go up to a year. In the meantime, we've got people not sure what they can and can't do.
I think if we do it in-house, like Jeff suggested, I think we can do it a lot quicker, Mary Jo. It's just a matter of how quick we can get it, from meeting to meeting. And
Okay. What's your pleasure?
Well, can we put a smaller timeline on this?
That's kind of what I was wondering too.
Thinking maybe like a 90-day or something like that. See, I think we could accomplish something within 90 days.
And maybe use an existing committee like the police commission, or, you're talking about regulations.
Whatever the council's pleasure is.
you guys can choose.
And we are short a citizen on the commission, so.
Oh, yeah.
Fill out an application and we will consider it. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Well,
As long as this isn't going backwards, like, I don't want them to, all of a sudden, they can't sell, or they can't ship, or they can't, I don't want them to go backwards.
No, I agree.
If-
I agree.
If that, as long as that's the case, and we're just making sure that we, get our ducks in a row, that's fine, but I don't want to wait a year.
Is the tobacco shop in town currently able to sell these, or are they? Does anyone know?
They are.
They are? So they're, if we pass
once-
this
yeah,
today,
once
they're
July
gonna be,
1,
they're gonna be sitting on it for,
Anybody could have, been purchasing to sell.
yeah.
With the exceptions of, some that are controlled by other sections of state statute. So,
Yeah.
Well, I agree with you, Laura. I think we can put something together and give them a shorter timeline. I agree.
well, if that's the case, I'll make an ordinance to approve, or make a motion to approve ordinance 387 with one change, and that is the term length. And let's make that 90 days.
Couldn't we work on the regulations and have without putting any moratorium and,
Certainly can.
I mean,
We could do that too.
I'm all for everything. I think the moratorium just isn't needed,
Okay.
to be honest. I think, as far as we know, there's one place in town that has it. It's pretty expensive. I'd be surprised if other places would want to get in without knowing
Yeah.
what the future is.
Since they don't know right now.
I mean,
And maybe if there isn't a moratorium, it gives us the ambition needed to get our ducks in a row.
Get it done.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's too easy to let it go.
Yeah.
Well, if that's how the council feels, I'll withdraw my motion.
Does somebody want to make a motion to leave it be?
Do
Does
we
it
have to
require
do
any
anything?
action if we
don't
just?
have to
Do
do
it
that.
requires any action?
Just drop it.
Do we want to make,
No, I don't think we want to drop it, because I think we want to.
Well, I think we need to
we wanna
remand it
s-
to the police commission
send it
to
to
I
the
agree.
commission?
to look
Yeah.
at regulations.
Action to direct.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
Okay.
would be.
Motion that the police commission take this up and come up with a solution as soon as possible.
I'll second that.
Motion been made by Lundell, second by Montgomery, to refer this ordinance 387 to the police commission. Any other discussion? Vote.
Ringgold,
Aye.
Duncan,
Aye.
Yasmi.
Aye.
Cronenberger,
Aye.
Lundell,
Aye.
Montgomery.
Aye.
That motion passes 6-0. Okay, let's get into reports. I don't see Kyle here tonight. Kyle's
He
not.
was here.
Oh, there she
He's
is,
here.
hiding back there.
Why would you hide?
You're just behind me, I'm kind of big.
Oh, well.
No.
Not going to say anything, Joe. Only a long time.
Not at all. Good evening, City Council and community. I am Kyle Paulson, reporting here for the Chamber of Commerce. And the first big event that is coming up is called the Cannon Cruisers Car Show or Car Club. And it is this Friday night, August 5th. The setup starts at 5 p.m. down at Artisan Plaza. The drive or the cruise itself will be 20 miles, and it will be starting from Artisan Plaza, going out and about Lake Billsby, and then coming back into town. And they're going to have food and music, and there'll be tons of cars there to see. So I hope everyone comes out. The music is 50s and 60s music, and all sorts of car viewing and bench racing until 10 p.m. And so please support the Cannon Cruisers Car Club. Then the Chamber's next big event is on Thursday, August 11th. And that is our Fun Fest. And the Fun Fest is the good old original Fun Fest, where we block off Mill Street from 4th Street to over the bridge. The vendors will be right on the street. We do currently have 3 food vendors, possibly another one. I'm hearing the sweet corn is coming, and so come out for that. We do have the Kristen Hartle Family and Friends Band, and they are bringing in multiple friends to keep the music going. And then also the Bethel Rock Church Band will be there for several songs as well. And so a big variety. We're at 28 vendors right now. I've had 2 more calls in today, and so this could be a very nice event for everyone. And so come out Thursday, the 11th, 4:30 to 7:30. We'll be on Mill Street having a lot of fun. So I hope you join us. Any questions? That'll be it.
Okay, thanks, Kyle.
You bet. The rock climbing wall is coming back. That's the 25-foot wall, and that is coming from the Minnesota National Guard. And so they have harnesses.
Hot dogs?
No,
No.
not hot dogs this particular time. You're going to have sweet corn. You're going to have snow cones. You'll have Don's crumble beef sandwiches, Rancho Loco, and I haven't heard back yet if the Lions are coming with their Spam sandwiches. So we've got things in the works. Things will fall into place here really soon. And so any other questions? And thanks to Dan. He was checking electrical outlets for us today. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks, Kyle. Well, the one last meeting that we had in between since our last council meeting was the Cannon Valley Trail Board. Anything there?
Yeah, we took a field trip down And they're putting a new, they want to put some new sidewalks in. Is that correct, Laura?
Yep.
Near the trailhead in Red Wing. So we took a look at that, went down and looked, and all looks pretty exciting. It's going to be good. That was about it.
You know, when we were at that bonding thing last fall, asking for money for John Ridge Park, Red Wing was there. They were asking for like $4 million to increase their trails throughout Red Wing, Barnes Bluff, and all over the place.
Yeah.
Of course, they didn't get any money like we did either. But
Yeah.
they'll be back. Okay, let's go around the horn. Dan?
It's got a couple things. Water tower rehab work continues. In the next week, you should start seeing activity downtown. They'll start pulling wire for the new stoplights, and that should be progressing in the next couple of weeks. Our River Road sewer extension should begin tentatively August 15th. So that'll be the work up by Ag Partners. They'll be installing those 2 manhole structures. The compost piles have been screened, so that's all done. So there's some fresh, clean black dirt down there now. Bring your pails and shovels. And just a heads up, after 21 years of service at the Public Works building, our air conditioner quit.
Oh, no.
So the fact that that building houses our control room for the SCADA equipment and our lab, we got that installed pretty quick. So just wanted to let you know that invoice will be on next month and the payment. So that's it.
Thank you. Jeff?
For the Police Commission, we'll be trying to find some potential dates to meet. I know we've got 3 members sitting up there, and try to get some action moving forward that we can bring back to you guys. That's all I got.
Diane?
Oh, they're all there already.
Neil?
I got a little item I'd like to discuss. I'll pass out some information. At the last meeting, there was discussion on the DMV, and I want to make some clarification that maybe it isn't quite what it seems as presented at the last meeting. So what I did, I talked to the auditor to put together a 4-year cost basis. So if you look at what I passed out, when you dig into the register fees, the top line is what the deputy register actually made for the year. Okay? And all the lines underneath it are all the expenses. So when you get down to the bottom, all 4 of them numbers are in the negative. In 2018, it lost $12,769. In 2019, it lost $8,584. In 2020, it lost $25,912. And in 2021, unadjusted now, it lost $8,888.
And it wasn't open a full year in 2021.
And the only reason it lost $8,000 and not more is because our deputy register
closed,
resigned,
right,
actually in July, and we closed in October.
Right, so there weren't no more payroll charges.
There wasn't no more money going out. I want to add one caveat to that, in that somewhere back in the budget cycle of 12-16 and 12-17, or in 2016-2017, there was a item removed from the motor vehicle, a line item that is no longer charged against the department. And you see it highlighted there on the page I handed out. And building rental expense, it was $16,950.
Oh.
So from there on forward, the deputy register or the motor vehicle didn't pay for building rent, insurance, gas, heat, electricity, none of that stuff. I don't know if any business would take that deal.
Yeah.
So when you look back at the first page that I handed out, you need to, if you really want to run a business, you need to add $16,950 to all them line items, negative line items.
Right.
So in 2020, you're looking at closer to $40,000. It went in the hole.
Right.
So the reason that at the public input that there was a $66,000 plus positive number is because when we closed the account, the compensated absences were taken off, which were $57,000. And there was a decrease in pension liabilities of almost $17,000. So that brought that up into the positive.
Okay.
So you look at the DMV as how much money is coming in based on register fees, deputy register fees. That's the top line. You can't include the $38,000 that we got for grant money from the state because of MNLARs. That's not real money. You can't count the transfer over of $20,000 or $25,000 from taxes. That's not real money. You got to look at deputy register fees if you're going to run a business.
Right.
Because that free money isn't free money. It's coming from taxes. So I just wanted to straighten out what was said because it wasn't accurate. Now I want to get back to the 2022 budget. If this would have still been open, here's the 2022 budget that was discussed when it was brought up about how it would be $30,000 to $35,000 in the hole. And that was the discussion that we had. So if you look at the bottom of the page, I used $135,000 as the deputy register fees. Now, coming off a pandemic, I don't know what that number would be. It could have been more, it could have been less. Who knows how many people are going to walk in the door, right? So I grabbed the highest number that we have ever made, $135,000, and put it in as revenue. I looked at expenses, which is on the second page. We had expenses, and now I do these employee wages and all this stuff are calculated with all the employees. That's how I do all the budgets. And there was $180,000 worth of expenses.
Okay.
Now, you guys can do the math, but $135,000 and $108 in revenue and $180,000 in expenses, my $30,000 to $35,000 wasn't enough. Talk about too much. It should have been $45,000.
Right.
So I just wanted to make clarification on it. And if you got any questions, just let me know. That's all I got, Mayor. Thanks.
Well, I would just say to address that, it's unfortunate that particular individual who discussed that is misleading the public because he cannot read a financial sheet. So we got to keep that in mind when people mention things in public input, that about 95% of the time they're wrong.
I just want to say that it's never been the intention of this council to get rid of the DMV. That this town deserves a DMV in town.
Be great to have one.
And we just ran into an unfortunate incident where our deputy register quit. And then we had two retired gals there that quit within a short period. We didn't have time to train anybody in. But long before this happened, we had been talking about privatizing the DMV here in town for a long time. If you look around the surrounding towns, like Red Wing, that license center on West 7th and Red Wing has been there for 20, 25 years. City of Red Wing has not been in in the DMV business for a long time. And that's true for Hastings, Northfield, Faribault, all of Rochester. They're not in the DMV business.
It's a
They've
losing
all
proposition.
privatized the business because it wasn't making any money.
No.
And I'm just saying that I want a DMV back in this town. You know, we've been talking to the state, and they've promised that they'll find somebody to come in and do it. And anything with government, you know, it takes time, so bear with us. We're working on it, so.
If I understand correctly, we're waiting on the state to make a decision. We do have interested parties that would like to have a DMV
Yeah.
here, but
I had two interested parties, actually, and one of the parties actually put in a request. When I got to finally talk to the supervisor that does this, he sent an email, and I believe I sent it to most of you. I don't remember. I know Steve asked me the other day, and I gave it to him again. But there's a process that it has to go through, and what he did tell me is they're trying to get 22 license bureaus, the driver's license stations, up and running. Well, if it takes as long as that to do one of these, it might be a while. So it's got to get in front of the commissioner, and then what he did tell me in the email is when you see a letter coming requesting if you want to turn it down, first it goes to the county turns it down because they get the first bid, and then the city, and if the city turns it down, it goes to private. And then that interested people that will put a bid in on it, and the most qualified will get it. And as we discussed in the very beginning, it would be perfect to have it right back in the spot that they're in. Whether that happens or not, it's probably going to find out here shortly. I did send off another email on Monday, I believe, yesterday or last week, asking where we are in the process. That answer is slow to come back, always has been. So.
That's it. Okay, Laura? Matt?
I wonder if communities like Stewartville and Casson and Manterville and Pine Island have outgrown the pace that was suggested in this study. It's just a study. It's not even a recommendation. So thank you for sharing, but I think communities grow at their own rate.
Bill?
nothing.
Derek? No. Mary Jo? Steve, anything up there?
Nothing for me, thank you.
Okay, I got some important announcements here. Openings for mayor and city council open today. They'll be open today, the 2nd of August through the 16th of August. We have an opening for a mayor, which is a 4-year term, and we have two 2-year terms for council and 2 4-year terms for council. 4 councilmen and 1 mayor position. And those applications will be taken to August 16th. That'll be in the Beacon this week. I think we had a mix-up with the Beacon. They didn't get it published last week, but it'll be in this week. And then, don't forget the primary next Tuesday, November 5th. There's a lot, November 9th.
August 9th.
Oh, I'm thinking of a general election, aren't I? August 9th. Okay, next Tuesday. And the citizens vote right here in City Hall, Ward 1 and 2 here in City Hall. Okay, upcoming.
I can just add, do you
Okay,
mind if I
go
just
ahead.
add quick to that? So, and you can vote now, and so if you vote in city, if you're in city limits, you can vote now at City Hall, what is it, 8:30 to 4:30? 8 to 4:30, Monday through Friday. And then on August 9th, everybody can vote at their own polling place. And you can always vote at Goodhue County Courthouse.
What do you have to show when you come in to vote absentee like that?
Driver's license.
Driver's license, that's it?
Yep. And then the clerk that assists you is your witness for your voting.
Okay.
It takes all of 5 minutes if you're not the first one to do it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go through meetings that are coming up. This Thursday, we got EDA, we got Public Works, time change on Public Works, it's at 6 o'clock. Park Board on Thursdays at 5 o'clock. Finance Committee next Monday, August 8th. Planning Commission is August 15th. And Library Board is August 8th, too. So, other than that, anything else from the council? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Montgomery, a second by Duncan to adjourn. All in favor?
Hang.
Opposed?
Hey.
Oh, okay. Roll call.
I gotta find my,
Sorry.
He wants to keep the meeting open.
where's your
Yeah.
agenda? Gesme,
Aye.
Thank you.
Lundell.
Aye.
Ringgold. Duncan.
Aye.
Montgomery. Cronenberger.
I
Pass 6-0, we adjourned.